You are watching. Pause. We pause for a second or two. How do we keep life coherent when so much is changing? This is episode 218, Unfit for the Challenge. Right now, when we listen to the leaders of our world, when they talk about each other and when they talk about us, common people, what is often the case now is that much of the energy, much of the attention, all of our attention goes to our leaders trying to poke at insecurities. And the way in which the poking or provoking is done is often quite just, basic. It's a lot about talking about appearances. It's a lot about talking about all of ours lifelong insecurities. So when we meet, you and me and a third person, hypothetically even a world leader, when we meet, all of us can easily see probably one or a few of the other person's deep-seated insecurities. We just see them. We just do. And a lot about this, how we do this thing together is about how we sort of communicate about our insecurities. A lot of it is about that. So then now, when many of our world leaders have resorted to poking and provoking and name calling and bullying, just bullying in all kinds of shapes for any insecurity. Now when world leaders are doing this, all of us are sort of pushed into this position of guarding ourselves, sort of trying to protect ourselves. And we start thinking, okay, what insecurities of mine might people try to exploit? Oh, okay, maybe these are the ones I most do not want them taken advantage of. And a lot of our energy now is spent on just trying to protect ourselves from being taken advantage of in this way. A lot of it. Today's episode is called Unfit for the Challenge. And the emotional situation we're talking about today is our worn out situation. Worn out is for when it's for all those times when we find ourselves in an asymmetrical relationship. When we have much more skin in the game than the other part. It's when we take most of the risk in the relationship and the other part is taking little or no risk. That's when we feel worn out. And when there is so much poking and provoking and name calling, and it's coming from the top position, from our leaders. Now all of us, unavoidably, are spending a lot of time with our insecurities because we want to guard ourselves. And basically spending so much time with our insecurities, it's those places in our personalities, in our memories, in our thoughts, in our hearts, when we feel terrible, we feel worthless, we feel like we are down here and the rest of the world is up here. It's when we feel utterly alone, utterly helpless, like it's impossible, we can't do it. I can't do it, we feel. I can't do it. Everybody else can, but I can't. And then we feel worn out. We get worn out. Not only feel, we get worn out. And it's just a terrible position that we are in right now, with all this bullying and poking, provoking, name calling. No one wants to be the one down here. Everybody wants to be in the crowd up here. And everybody loses, including the world leaders. Just everybody loses. It's just a terrible situation. But sometimes that is the case. And now we are there. The emotional skill of today's episode is specific skill listening. And it is specific for our worn out situation. Listening is about, it's not to be, passive and just receive. That's not what it is. Listening is it's related to positioning. It's how we position ourselves. So now we have a situation when there's a lot of provoking from top. And none of us wants to be on the receiving end. So we try to hide behind something, behind someone. But it doesn't really work. So specific skill listening it's about sort of putting ourselves in a wider perspective. It's about giving ourselves context. So now when we feel worn out, now when we spend a lot of time with our insecurities, feeling unfit for the challenge, most of the time we just listen to that sort of difficult, lifelong insecurity we have. And that's what everybody's doing right now. So the point is not to stop doing it, because spending time with our insecurities right now, actually feeling unfit right now, is truthful. It is corresponding to how we all are feeling. It is real. It is real. We are all feeling unfit for the challenge, feeling like, wow, this is not going to work. I am doomed. That's how we all feel right now. Not all of us think it explicitly, but remember, when we meet, we can tell. We just can tell. It's uncomfortable, but we can tell. You can tell from me, I can tell from you. It's just how it is. So, and the nice part about using specific skill listening to ourselves, listening to you, seeing that you have the same insecure record player in your head that I have, it creates symmetry. It creates symmetry between you and me, between me and this world leader, between you and this world leader. It creates symmetry. And that's what we want. When it comes to this worn out situation, we don't want this sort of uneven, asymmetrical, we take all the risk and someone else taking no risk. We want this. So, if I would push away my insecurities, you can see them in me. They are clear. If I would push them away, then I would put myself in a strange position, because then you can see the insecurities in me, but I do not want to look at them. And that puts you in a better position than me regarding me. And I don't want that. We don't want that. So if we are supposed to do anything together, then I need to keep my insecurities. Because you see them anyway. And you need to keep your insecurities as well. Because I see them. We all do. So it's a bit like fake it till you make it, but the inverse. Not fake it till you make it. So, when it comes to specific skill listening, it's not about, listening. It's not about being a good listener. It's not about being an active, intent listener. It's not about being a passive listener. It's about listening a little here, a little there. To sort of find that traction, find that symmetry between us. That's what it's about. To not close anything off. Not in how we listen. So going forward, we will see how long this social climate will stay. The poking, the provoking, the name calling, the bullying. We will see it stays for as long as it is supposed to stay. And we, meanwhile it stays, we do not push away our insecurities. We keep them. We sort of let them in and try to accept them, even though it's almost impossible. And then we meet and see that you are the same. You are having the same struggle. Perhaps in other ways than me, but still we all have that sort of level playing field. As person to person we do. Yes. That's it for today. Thank you.